What's up, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with SPY, Tesla, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'm going to break down some big data that's coming out very soon. Why the market's been pretty crazy for the last couple of hours. Just notes that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And don't forget to smash the like button. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire community as a whole. So anyways, let's talk about the market, what's going on so far. So we had some crazy volatility. Basically, SPY opened at this 560 area. We were in the 559s, and then what happened was we got this huge push to about 562. Then we got this dump back down to 558, so we dumped 4 points. Then we pushed back up to about 560. So that's like 10 points worth of volatility in the last 1.5 hours. SPY has been making some crazy moves, and I think that the volatility is going to slow down for a bit right now until we get to the next big catalyst, which is coming out in just a couple of hours. So what happened? Why is the market moving like crazy? What on earth is going on? Well, this is the big data that came out. At 10 o'clock a.m. today, we got the non-farm payrolls annual revision, and this is not the best of pieces of data. Here's what happened. This summarizes everything very, very well. The U.S. Labor Department revises the 12-month job growth down by a massive 818,000 jobs, which is pretty insane. So the initial data needs to be revised, which shows that what we saw initially was not as accurate. In other words, the U.S. economy created about 818,000 less jobs than initially reported. That's very, very important. The U.S. economy lost 192,000 jobs in Q3 of 2023 and added 344,000 jobs in Q4 of 2023 as well. That's according to the BED survey release. And then on top of this, non-farm payrolls were not as strong as expected. So this is showing that there's about a 1 million job difference in the count over just the last 2 quarters. This is based off what the Labor Department is actually calculating. So this is showing that the numbers have been misleading and that they have to revise the numbers. And now they're revising them by showing that there were actually less jobs created by over 818,000. So pretty insane stuff, guys. Pretty crazy stuff. That's the reason why the market was just going crazy. It pumped a bit, then dumped. We got a fake pump in the dump, and now we're just kind of consolidating. So the question is, what's going to happen now to the markets? The market's kind of range bound, but we have this coming up. We have the FOMC minutes coming out at 2 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is going to be very important because it's going to give us more insights from what the Fed is thinking. Will the Fed be more hawkish? Will they be more dovish? Are they going to be anticipating potential cuts to be coming very soon? To what extent will they possibly cut? All these questions are going to be answered once we get the data from the Fed, so get ready for that. So at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, expect some high volatility. Otherwise, the market is range bound. So SPY has resistance at this 560 area and also at 562 above that. Our support is currently at our 20 EMA at 559. It's very minor support, and 558 below that. If 558 breaks, we're coming all the way down to 556.75. So SPY is very, very tight within these levels. And as you can see, it's been just kind of chomping around besides this little pump and dump like move we've made. So I think we chomp around for a bit for another couple of hours, and then there's going to be a big move coming once we get the FOMC minutes release. Once again, guys, I know people in the comments were kind of confused about this. Let me just clarify. The FOMC minutes is not FOMC as a meeting. It's just a report about the meeting that's coming out. So the report will give us more insights on what the Fed is thinking. This is not like a typical FOMC meeting. It's just a report about the meeting. So please keep that in the back of your guys' minds. 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is when the data comes out. All right. So if we get a bullish move, SPY could be pushed to 562, if not 564, if that breaks. If you get a bearish move, we could be tipping all the way down to at least the 556.75 area. We'll see which way we go, guys. It depends on the data at this point, so we'll see. Otherwise, SPY is going to shuffle for now and get ready for some crazy moves. But I do want to call out one thing. We do have a bearish divergence that developed. Generally, these do lead to downside moves, so there could be a rejection coming. I'm not 100% convinced, though. I'm going to be very patient nonetheless. For ES, we also have a bearish divergence. We had this 5650 area, the level line marked right here as resistance. And the support is going to be all the way down to 5600. Will we break 5650 to turn bullish, or will we lose 5600 to turn bearish? We'll just have to wait and see. For Nvda, if we break and hold above 128, we could get closer to 130. If we end up losing 126, look for a dip all the way back down to these lower levels, such as like 123.5. Looking at the current levels, we have a lower high potentially being established from this high, so it's not the best of signs, and generally that could lead to more downside. When you zoom out and look at like the 4-hour time frame on Nvda, It could be kind of shifting its trend now. You guys can see the direction could be shifting, but it depends if we get a big rejection here and get a follow through move. And if we end up losing 125, there's going to be a bigger dip coming to at least 121 again. So be careful. I think there's a risk of Nvidia potentially getting rejection, but there's no official sign yet that this thing's about to see a big drop. So be very, very patient, and we'll see how things end up going. I just want to give you guys a heads up about that there could be a little dip coming to Nvidia if we establish a lower high right here. This depends on the data, so just wait and see. For Bitcoin, it's the same thing. Essentially, we basically are shuffling at 60,000. Will we push up to 61,000, or will we get a rug pull all the way down to the 58,000 area? It depends on the data, so we'll just wait and see. For Tesla, I'm a little concerned about this because the 4 hour is looking weaker, firstly. Even if even though the 4 hour looks kind of weak, just know that this could just be a cup and handle. So just because we dip a little bit, it doesn't mean Tesla's crashing. It could just be a small dip, but we are looking like we might dip a little bit more on the 4 hour. And then my issue with Tesla is this: when you look at, actually, I think the 30 minutes was a little bit better. Let me go to the 30 minutes time frame. On the 30 minutes time frame, you guys will see that there's a possible head and shoulders like structure on Tesla. We have like a left shoulder here and then a head and then maybe a right shoulder. If we lose support at this 220 area and fail to hold this, I see us dipping all the way down closer to like 216, around that area, 215, 216. So the head and shoulders could end up playing out. So you want to be very careful with Tesla. If we break past 224, we could continue higher to this imbalance. But like I said, with the head and shoulders, I think that there is a risk of us dipping even lower to 217, if not 215, if 220 breaks. So be careful with that. For Coinbase has a bearish divergence as well. If we lose support at 479, we could be dipping all the way down to much lower levels, such as the 477 area. We have resistance at 482, not to mention 484, but I see a risk of QQQ, dipping even lower. There is a risk of it, but it depends on the data, of course, so we'll just have to wait and see. But I am seeing some technicals that look a little bit concerning for the bulls that could lead us to the downside. So just be mindful of that. Aapl is just range bound between 227 and 226. If 226 fails, this will be tipping all the way down to some balance down here at 225. And we have resistance at 228. So we'll see how things go. There is a risk of us dipping though, so be mindful of that. For the IWM, we're just range bound. We have 214 to 215 as resistance, and then we have support down here at 212. We've been stuck going back and forth and back and forth. I do think we could be dipping to 213 though, so be mindful of that. We'll see what happens with the data release. Coin is holding up, but just be mindful of the fact that we're about to be testing previous support becoming resistance at 200. If we get this rejection, we'll be dipping back down towards 197 and then 192. If we hold above 202, we could be pushing higher for like 204. So just be careful as we hit this resistance. We'll see what kind of reaction we get depending on the data. Same thing with Amazon. We pumped and dumped today. We got a big pump and a big dump on Amazon. We're looking at support at 178. If that fails us, we're coming all the way down to about the 177 area. And then if that fails us, 175 is coming. We have resistance at 180. We want to get back above that. Otherwise, this is favoring downside. Amazon's looking weaker after getting a big rejection, so it could be tipping to 177. Meta got a nice pump and dump as well. We have resistance at 534, and our support is now going to be very close to about 529. So I do see a risk of us dipping lower. Microsoft is also dipping lower. I think this might get very close to about the 421.8 area. If that breaks, 420 is likely coming, whereas we have support at 424. We have resistance at 424, but we look bearish. Google is kind of bearish right here as we're filling this imbalance. 166 is likely coming. I called out 166 since the beginning, and that's what's kind of like being tested. So I think there's going to be downside coming to that. I think the market is looking a little bit weaker right now. But just know that we're just shuffling for the time being. And even though we are showing signs of weakness, just wait, okay? Don't be overly bearish or overly bullish. Let's see what happens with the FOMC minutes, and this might cause a very, very big move. The FOMC minutes is going to cause a very, very big move, so get ready for that, and then we'll see how things go. I am seeing weakness building in some stocks like Tesla, on others like Amazon, and the list goes on for like Meta and the QQQ. But we'll see what the data gives us, and we'll be very patient nonetheless. I thank you for listening, guys. Hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you guys in just a couple of hours for another update. Get ready for a big move at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thanks again, and peace out.